somebody said, I got a comment on my YouTube video. Someone said I was an amateur at smoking cigars. Are you kidding me? I smoke cigars like a pro. This is not a cigar. This was once again a purposeful red herring to get liberals to criticize me for smoking and not listening to a word I say. But, well, it's a tactic me and Rini have developed. Today, I took notes, so you know it's pretty serious, and I decided to start a new series. I'm extending an olive branch to the baby boomer generation and the corporate America boss generation, or league, or whatever you want to call it. Because I'm realizing that you guys don't know how to incorporate this new generation of Gen Xers and Gen Yers and Millennials, whatever you want. You don't know how to take this group of young labor and incorporate them into corporate America. You don't know how to lead them. Matter of fact, I don't think you lead them at all. You're too damn lazy to do that, and you don't really give any consideration to younger people as a boss. I've yet to run into a baby boomer boss, anyone who has gray hair that has competence, genuine leadership skills, and a desire to extract the most production out of a young person. So I've decided to come up with a new series called Helping Old Fart Bosses. And so as kind of a liaison between the younger generations to the older generations, I'm going to be putting together a series of short, little helpful YouTube videos that if you wish to help incorporate the younger generations into your corporate employment and get them up and going and all that, you can watch these videos and you can help yourself. And I strongly suggest you do, because we're the people that are going to end up paying for your Social Security. And if you don't start incorporating us pretty soon into leadership roles, into important roles, and not this crap corporate cog, go nowhere positions that's all your generation has seemed to be able to generate for younger people. I got news for you. The economic production is not going to be there to pay for all the things that you guys voted yourselves in back in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s. And it's great about Ponzi schemes is you need future people to pay for the stuff you promised yourselves. And as an economist, I know it just isn't there. So you might want to listen to me. And you might want to just say, well, he's an arrogant cocky, I don't like his attitude. You might want to listen. So here's a couple things. Today's lesson is going to be about social media. Now, I find it funny, the generation that's all about smoking pot and let's stick it to the system, man. I don't trust anyone over 30, man. Has all of a sudden taken a very keen interest in people's personal and private lives on the internet. Namely, younger generation, millennials, Gen Y, maybe Gen X, but, you know. To the point that people are asking for Facebook passwords as if you're entitled to this. Well, I'm thinking I speak for everyone of the younger generation who, once again, are going to be the ones you're parasiting off of to pay for all the things you promised yourselves in terms of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. It's none of your goddamn business what we do on the internet. Now, let me explain why. Yes, you can look up those things. You physically can do that. And you could go ahead and request people's Facebook passwords if you want. But there becomes a bit of social decorum or legitimacy where, you know what, you just should maybe self-discipline and regulate yourself and say, no, you know what, that's none of our damn business. And the reason why, let me tell you the reason why. I know you think old time because you're old and you've got gray hair. You think you're smarter and wiser. And you're not. The kids today, that's what used to be 50, 60, 70 years ago. The kids today, the ones that are cool and hip, not you anymore, even though, what's her name? Jane Fonda keeps trying to make a comeback, so does Madonna. The kids today, their primary form of communication and socializing is on the internet and social media. Now, because it's digitized, that means it's all recordable. That doesn't mean you have the right, just because you can, go and start searching these people. Alright, if I find out an HR person has Googled me, done, over with. None of your damn business, okay? People have the right to have a social life through whatever media or means. People have the right to have whatever political opinions they want through whatever means. They can participate, and I'm speaking even for the left. I don't care if a leftist... let's talk about an evil right-wing corporation, and they're interviewing some left-wing kook job that has a sizable blog. It's none of your damn business, left or right. All you corporations, all you employers, including the public sector, it's none of your goddamn business what young people do on the internet, what their political beliefs are, what their social activities are. None of your damn business. All right? So why don't you, for once, act like adults and purposely decide not to look and investigate people's, what can we call it, digital lives. Okay? So why don't you look at what the resume says? Why don't you look at what the qualifications are? And as long as they don't bring their personal opinions or their political opinions or their digital social life in business, they don't mix the two, why don't you just leave it alone? Okay? Now, here's another thing you could think about. You got to stop that? You think, well, we Google search you. You think you're going to stop those kids from going on the internet and doing whatever it is that they do? Because you disapprove? You better start realizing, maybe look up some government finances and realize you need the younger generations more than you effing realize. And maybe you ought to be a bit more accommodating instead of lecturing and strict. Okay? You better, I'm not saying you find out somebody has a criminal record or is a pedophile and say, well, I found it out on the internet. I'm saying if somebody said something politically disagreeable with you, whatever your political stripe, none of your damn business. If they're qualified to do the job, maybe you ought to hire them and let them, maybe here's a concept, you treat them like adults. Now, a couple other things here, because again, I take notes. You know I'm serious when I take notes. The goody two-shoes paradox. I know you corporations, because of a lack of economic growth, have had to rely on cutting costs and finding the most highest, utmost qualified candidate. And you could afford that because unemployment rates are so high. The problem is you create this kind of black swan or circular reinforcing kind of event where if you're looking for true leaders, true producers, true innovative thinkers, you're not going to get them looking for people who obey. It's just not going to happen. Okay? If you really want your company to grow and you want to hire the best people, then maybe you ought to not hire the conforming, compliant, ass-kissing, brown-nosing kid who's never done a damn thing wrong in their lives. You might want to have somebody that has a little bit of dirt. You might want to hire somebody that doesn't obey by the rules. Because what? Leaders come from the ass-kissing, brown-nosing MBA graduate at the Carlson School of Management with all the perfect credentials? I mean, there's going to be a leadership deficit once you baby boomers retire, if you ever do, because I know you've pissed away so much money and you didn't budget because that was so not cool, man. And but inevitably there is going to be a leadership gap. There will be one. And your leaders, your genuine leaders, your innovators, your thinkers, the ones that completely revolutionize industries and companies, they're not going to be John Jones who told you whatever you wanted to hear and followed your stupid, idiotic preferences when they had brilliant ideas otherwise that would have revolutionized or cut costs or whatever. But, so, maybe you ought to look for that diamond in the rough. Maybe you ought to look for that guy or that gal who has some sins, who has some vices, because they didn't grow up and commit themselves to such a narrow-minded path of education and training to the point that they've forfeited their individuality and individual thought and just tell you what you want to hear. Meanwhile, you got your horse blinders on, you're leading a corporation off the cliff because, got news for you, you're just one mind. You're not many. And if you can't accept the views of many minds, you have a myopic view of leadership, you have a myopic view of management, and your company, your entity, will fail in the long run. What else? Irony. Oh, here's irony. This is great. This is for the kids. I want you kids to pay attention. You know what these middle-aged, old fart-type people, leaders of corporate America, you know what they're, aside from expanding sales overseas because the U.S. economy sucks so bad, you know what their saving grace is? How they're going to increase sales? Social media. It's all about Facebook likes. How many likes? And, a funny guy said, we should just replace the accounting system and profits with Facebook likes. And it's almost to that point. This is how desperate or hypocritical these old farts are. They will condemn you on one hand for having a Facebook profile or having a digital social media website or a blog or whatever. But then the only thing their main strategy is, we got to exploit digital media. We got to go on the internet. We got to get a Facebook page. I mean, you can't have both, you dumbass old assholes. You can't. So, But decide. Do you want digital media or do you not? If you do, if you think the future of your revenue and sales growth comes from digital media, then you better damn well not apply standards and regulations to your employees or potential employees if they dare have a Facebook page or post something that may be deemed foolish or uncolorful. All right? So, and of course, you baby boomers, you old timers, you never did anything wrong in your youth, did you? I mean, you were all freaking angels, weren't you? There just wasn't digital cameras back then to catch your stupid tomfoolery antics and like you were 21. But again, you're so much better than, you're so much wiser than these young kids today. Economic production, I already talked about that, okay? You better start incorporating these younger people into the corporate world, and you better start grooming them. You better not just say, hit ground running, I'm too busy. You better really start appreciating, because they are the the goose that's going to lay the golden egg. If there's any way you're going to see all of your Social Security or Medicare, and not even long term, I'm estimating medium term, you better start really considering future generations, because now I got news for you. The children really are your future. That's not a platitude for you just to use children to get more money as a teacher or some kind of government program. You better start really treating them like your future, because they are. You are so dependent upon the young generations right now, it ain't even funny. And, you know, with unemployment rates of about 20% and underemployment rates of about 50%, I don't think they're going to produce the economic production necessary to pay for your little self-entitlement programs. But hey, you know, you're wiser than us. You know so much. You're so brilliant. You're so freaking genius. I mean, I'm just an evil asshole. What the hell do I know? Finally, for the kids. Look, kids, here's the deal. There ain't that many jobs out there for you because the economy sucks. And the one, I don't even want to say this is a good thing. It isn't a good thing. But with socialism being created, and not by your own hand, this was definitely brought upon by baby boomer generations. They ushered in socialism, and maybe some of them grew up and said, oh God, what did we do back in the 70s? But now that socialism is here, you don't have to take their crap. You don't have to. If you went to school to become an accountant, then by golly, you should be an accountant, not a data entryman. If you went to school to become a mechanical engineer, you should be a mechanical engineer, not somebody who goes through data on CAD programs. Okay? You went to school for that. You should demand a job like that. And if any of these old-time fart bosses give you any crap or disingenuous or dishonest with you about the job duties that they list out in the job description, which is going to be about 95% of them, walk off the job. All right? Have a bit of self-respect. Okay? This is brilliant, genius advice. I wish I could email back to myself in the past, because life would have been so much better. So if you went to school, you studied hard, you got straight A's, whatever it is, you were serious about it, and you took it, and the job offers you're getting are, well, you got to work your way up to accountant, you got to work your way up to financial analyst, you got to work your way up to engineer. Bullshit. You walk off the frickin' job, and best thing that could happen to the country is the youth just simply go on strike, saying, no, we ain't working. I mean, of course, right now the economic prospects of the country are so poor, you're by default on strike, and most of you major in a worthless subject, but, you know, have a bit of self-respect. Anytime a baby boomer boss, any boss, doesn't have to be a baby boomer, any boss, lies to you, is being disrespectful, you're confused, you think there's something wrong with you because they're your boss and they're older. No, they're not. However, they're older, that's for sure, and they are your boss, but they're not of higher moral caliber than you. I don't think I've ran into a competent baby boomer boss ever. I'm trying to think of, I did one. There was one guy, good guy, name was Tim. I won't give the last name. Good guy. He was honest. But then he ended up leaving the company that we were at. That company is still losing money today. But for the most part, kids, it's not you, right? If you're intellectually honest, you worked hard, you got your straight A's, you're ready to do stuff, willing to put in that extra time, and then there'll be a misconnect, or things won't jibe quite well. You'll say, well, it's probably me because I'm younger. No, it's not you. There's so much corruption, so much ineptitude, so much incompetence in corporate America and the older generation. It is not you, okay? So Don't second guess yourselves. Don't be arrogant at the same time too. Don't, you have to be honest with yourself. But if you put in your time, you're willing to work hard, and all of a sudden the job turns out not to be the way it was or advertised to you, you walk off that freaking job, collect wealth. I don't care. Collect as much government money from these. They're the ones working. They're the ones with the job. They're the ones paying the taxes. And they're the ones that have set up the system the way it is so that it's impossible for you to actually realize your full potential. Okay? So that's it. That's Helping Old Fart Bosses, Part 1. Also by sponsors. Not the cigarette. The Jar and Black. Yeah, I do like it. I mean, they're not paying me or anything like that, but not too bad if you want that. But here's the sponsor. Kids, on top of it, go buy Worthless. Do yourselves a freaking favor, okay? Sales have been great, but this really should be in the hand of every kid. I mean anyone under 25, especially if you're about to go to college. Get this freaking book, okay? I may be crass, I may be blunt, but I'm blunt and truthful and honest, and I ain't some old-timer kissing your ass, telling you things you want to hear. I'm telling you stuff that you need to hear, and stuff that's really going to help you in the long term, okay? So if things ain't making sense, things aren't, terribly clear, and you did what you were told, and things aren't turning out the way that you were told they were going to turn out, this book will help. I got another one coming out called Enjoy the Decline pretty soon, but this is a good starter. So everyone have a good time, and yes, I know it isn't Christmas, but I like this hat anyway. Toodles.